Okay, there we got our connections. I matched them up with what I've got set up on my charge controller, so everything will match. Let's just see what our pack is at. This is ground, and that's positive. 9.33. It's dead, but that's about what it should be reading. Got some shrink wrap on there. The heat of the soldering iron actually shrunk it, so it's all good to go. Alright, let's now add my harness that I kind of put together. Let's add this and see what we get. Okay, well, you didn't get to see me attach basically these two wires here because I forgot to turn the camera on. But it only took about a minute and a half. So we got our positive for the wiring harness, the positive for this, and the negative for the balance wiring harness, and the negative for this. So now I just need to figure out where I'll mount this. For now I'm just going to leave it like that, and I need to continue on now with adding the second hot wire and the third hot wire. So let's do that now. Okay, that went very, very well. Really quickly to mount. It was really quick to mount those on. So now let's go ahead and test it. This little meter is telling me I got 9.31 volts. Let's see what the ANOVA quickly says. 9.29 volts. 9.2 volts basically. And then to test out this balance wiring harness, I don't know of any other good way to do it other than plugging it into the cell meter 7. And we'll see what that says. We'll go to Lion. We're at total voltage of 2.99, which is saying what the ANOVA is for the most part. No, saying what this is. Pardon me. The ANOVA is saying reading a little differently, slightly differently. So let's see. Cell number 1. So it's now on cell number 1 right there. It's hard to see. 3.213. Cell number 2, 3.037, and then cell number 3, 3.047. Well, just for the fun of it, let's see if it'll balance. And it is. It's going through the balance function right there. So, cell 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It just keeps cycling through them. Showing my batteries at 1%. I really enjoy this cell meter 7 capacity control. I think it's really handy. I'm glad I know how to work it now. So anyway, and now we're at the total voltage, so evidently it balanced it just that fast. So everything looks like it is working pretty good. So now we'll go on to the final step today, and that is going to be protecting this thing. I'm going to let it sit like this, but now I've got these nice open circuits that I don't want those to be there, because that can short it out, and then I pop a fuse and then I end up soldering it again. So let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to cover this. I've got an idea. I think what I'm going to do is simply take, well, I'll just let you watch and see what I do. Okay, by the way, I'm done soldering, so I've unplugged my soldering iron and got it out of the way so I don't continue to burn myself on it. So what I've done here is I've just taken regular old standard procedure duct tape, and I took 2 strips and I cut them twice as long, and then I folded them over. So both sides of the sticky stuff are inside together. You'll never be able to get that apart. And it makes kind of a nice little barrier, more or less. So I'm going to just lay that on there Because what I don't want to do is take and tape this all up, because if I do that and I ever have to pull this apart to replace one of my fuses, that duct tape is probably going to pull every fuse right off there. And this way it won't. So I'm just going to lay that on there, and then I'm going to take my regular old electrical tape, or I might use this Kapton tape. That's what I used on my two auxiliary packs. So I'm just going to try to secure it around the edges. I've got to work around my wiring harness here and all that. And that's it. We'll just try to make this as secure so that that's protected from, coming in contact with something stupid that could cause a short. Alrighty, well, something like that is what I had in mind. So I'll do another row here, which will pretty much seal that down, and then maybe I'll go over it with the Kapton tape after that. Okay, well, there it is. It's taped on there, but that's only going to be so secure. I mean, this is tape, and tape is just not going to hold forever. It's going to start to come loose, but it is protected now. It's got a nice, it's not really thick, but it's two layers of duct tape thick, which is better than nothing. So what I'll probably ultimately do is get some pretty thin cardboard around the house here, like a cereal box or something like that, and I'll fit it on there, and maybe a couple of tapes over that to hold that on there. But I just want it so that I can take it apart, take the tape off without destroying all my fuses, in case I do have to do a repair on this. So let's go ahead and do the backside now. Okay, well, I am pretty much done with this thing for today. It's looking pretty good. As I said, I will need to fit some cardboard on here tomorrow and fasten that on there, but for now this is good to go. I did add my little meter there. I'm going to end up cutting my ground wire, and I've got some 22 to 16 gauge, I believe 16 gauge connectors. So I'll put one in the ground somewhere, and then I'll get those wires tucked away. That way I can connect and disconnect the gauge. I'm also going to need to add some more super glue to my connection right there, to where the point where it's glued, and I think I can even add some to the battery, but that should be good enough to hold it there. So I am ready to connect this up to the iMax and bring it up. I've got the iMax set at 6 amps, which is a lot of amps, but there are 12 batteries there, so that's going to basically be a ½ amp per battery. But I will be here, and I will be checking it periodically. So let's plug in our balance lead and connect up the positive way down here, and the negative. And just for the fun of it, let's connect it up backwards and see what that tells me. I know what it's going to tell me. There, reverse polarity. All I had to do was touch it on there. Okay, it wasn't even started yet. I like that iMax because it does give you some pretty nice security. Okay. Back to balance, 6 amps, 11.1 volts, 3 cells. There we go. This has the original alligator clips on them, and they just aren't the greatest. I've meant to change those since I've had this thing, but I just never do it. Okay, everything's nice and tight. Let's check it. It's checking everything out, and it says that it's good to go. Alrighty. Now we'll take that up to full charge and let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow I'll do my cardboard, and I'll also put in my connector right there. So that's going to be it for my first Tesla style 12 volt pack. I do plan to do something with the other 48 cells that I showed you before, but plans have kind of changed on that. So I will come back with an announcement on what I'm doing with those and the reason for the delay on building that pack. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.